Boys, UFC Sandhagen versus Figueiredo just finished up, and I'm not gonna lie, it seems like a lot of people have the same thought about this card, that it was pretty ass and maybe one of the worst fight cards that we've had this year, if not the worst. It was pretty bad. But we did have some, good moments here and there. It definitely wasn't enough to save the entire card because there's only a few select moments. But as you can see on screen, we have every single winner and the losers of the co-main events. Plus, we got the winners on that prelim card, because on this rare MMA channel, we go through every single winner. But let's start off with the main card, the main event. Cory Sandhagen, the running theme of this entire card is, for the winners, practically it was that, their opponent had no answer for pretty much the entire fight. And that's what happened in this fight. Figgy had zero answers to anything that Sandhagen was trying to do, pretty much. Ended up getting it was a TKO, but it was pretty much like a submission. They called it the 50-50. Popped out Figgy's knee, and it pretty much ended there. He tapped because of it. And because of that, where does Sandhagen go moving from here? And I think a good logical next step up for Cory Sandhagen is we give him a shot at the belt, get him to be the backup, give him the winner of that. And I think it's going to be Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley is getting that belt back. And to be honest, I see people saying, what about Peter Yan? What about, Umar? If, maybe if Umar wins a fight here and Sean O'Malley wins a fight here, we can do that. But other than that, it'd be rematches for the title picture, where Cory Sandhagen, this would be a fresh matchup for that title picture for either of the guys, Sean O'Malley or Merab. But yeah, I think that's what's next. I would like to see Peter Yan versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And yeah, pretty fast fight here as well. It only lasted 2 rounds. And again, Figgy just had nothing going for him. Moving down to Figgy, what do we do with Figgy? I wanted him to win. I am a big Figueiredo fan, but to be honest, he hasn't looked that great at bantamweight. Do I want him to go back down to flyweight? I don't even think he can make flyweight anymore. So there's not much we can do with Figgy. I don't know how long he's going to be out for this knee injury. But I think what we do, Deiveson Figueiredo, Mario Batista next. Give Mario Batista a fight in between here, and then give him Deiveson Figueiredo maybe at the end of the year, maybe beginning of next year, somewhere around there. But yeah, unfortunately, Figgy just hasn't looked the same since he was at flyweight, being an absolute menace. But it is what it is. Moving down, RDR got it done, and he called out for Sean Strickland. He ain't getting Sean Strickland, unfortunately. I think Sean Strickland and Izzy are going to run it back. And, I think also, Bo, I'll get into Bo after. But RDR, he looked good. He looked big out there. I think we give him one fight, and then he gets a number 1 contender fight. Also, Strickland's a little bit too high up in the rankings for RDR, in my opinion. I think we do RDR Jared Cannonier. That seems like the next logical step up for RDR. And if he gets past Jared Cannonier, we give him, honestly, depending on the title picture, but title picture right now is pretty messy for middleweight. Depending on title picture, though, we can give him a title shot, But I think we do Jared Cannonier, and then a number 1 contender fight against someone like a Brohalio, a Sean Strickland, maybe a Anthony Hernandez. There's lots of names at middleweight that we can do this for, but RDR is arguably 1 to 2 fights away from getting into that title conversation. But let's move down to Bo. Bo, I think, honestly, I've always thought this, but I think Bo is too small for middleweight. And to be honest, I'm calling BS on that 220 before weigh-ins. I think if it is 220, this dude needs to lock in, cut some weight. He looked pretty small out there compared to RDR. And to be honest, it looks like he could lose a little bit more weight. And I think we move him down to welterweight. I think he'll do a lot better at welterweight. I think he's too small for middleweight. And just look at the weigh-ins of RDR and Bo Nickal. RDR super, super sunk in. He cut way more weight than Bo Nickal. I think Bo Nickal can go down to welterweight. And at welterweight, I want to see him versus someone like a Michael Chiesa. I think that would be a fun matchup. Plus, it's a good name value for Bo Nickal. And I'm pretty sure Chiesa isn't in the top 15. So we get Bo Nickal, someone outside the top 15, get a win there. Then we can build him up back into the rankings. And yeah, a lot of people are saying fraud checked. I don't necessarily think it was a fraud check. I think it's a fraud check in the in the sense of middleweight. I think middleweight is dead for Bo Nickal. I think welterweight is still very promising, but let's keep moving down. Daniel Rodriguez got it done. I went 6 on 6 for predictions, and Rodriguez is one of them that I got right. He hurt Ponzinibbio pretty bad in the first round. Second round, it was a little bit of a swing round. Third round, put him away bad too. And in classic Santiago Ponzinibbio fashion, he's like, no, I'm not hurt. Tries to stand up and freaking face plants into the cage. Literally what he did when he fought Kevin Holland, but it is what it is. He called out Jake Matthews. I think we run Jake Matthews. I like it when they call out their opponents. It's feasible, it makes sense. Run this one next. Montel Jackson. All I gotta say is shout out Montel Jackson for beating Daniel Marcos, one of the worst fighters to watch in the division. At least he was so boring. Held him up against the cage pretty much as much as he could. I'm glad he got his O taken away from him. Montel Jackson, what do we do with him? Let's give him someone up the rankings with, a little bit higher up in the rankings as well. And we give him Kyler Phillips. I think this is a fun matchup. Kyler Phillips coming off a fraud check himself, and yeah, this was another one of these ass fights that was just garbaggio. Moving down, another not necessarily ass fight, but just annoying to watch. Sidey got it done. Good for Sidney. He got it done over Cameron Smotherman. Smotherman, if he keeps fighting the way he does, or he did in this fight at least, he'll have no career future for him in this sport. He went out there and fought like he didn't even care to win or lose. It was very annoying to watch, but shout out Sidney. He got it done. Let's do him versus Reinier Nakamura next. I think this would be fun, and I think they're relatively close in the rankings, so it makes a lot of sense to do that. Moving down, one of the best, or arguably the best fight of the card. I think easily the best fight on the card, without a shadow of a doubt. Mason Jones got it done over Jeremy Stephens. It was an all-out brawl up until the third round, and yeah, I think he wants to be on the Saudi card, so obviously we're gonna give him a Saudi-sounding name. Muhammad Yahya, run this one for the Saudi card. And it was a fun fight, Mason Jones, he out-brawled the brawler and then had to resort to controlling them all for the third round. It is what it is. Jeremy Stephens, I'm glad he's back in the UFC to have, fun brawls like what we just saw. But, it is what it is. Moving down to the prelims, we'll run through these ones quick, because I know a lot of you guys don't really care that much for the prelims. Miesha Tate, she lost against Yana Santos. She couldn't do anything at all up until the last round. And it is what it is. Who cares? Let's do Yana Santos versus Jocelyn Edwards. Relatively close in the rankings and scheduling wise. I want to see this one next. Azamat Bekoev got it done. He made it look really easy. In round one, I pretty much predicted this to the T, except for I thought it'd be round two. I got this one right. I think we give him Rodolfo Vieira next. I'm pretty sure Rodolfo was just coming off a fraud check himself. I think this would be a fun matchup. I think it would be a relatively competitive matchup. I don't think, Azamat Bekoev is getting it done in the first round like he's been doing, but I think he'll probably get it done anyways. But run this one next. Gillian Robertson, the only future for Canadians to touch gold in the UFC. I think, it was a very dominant win. And, Rodriguez just had nothing on the ground. Dominant win. She called out Amanda Lemos. Give her Amanda Lemos next. Let her retire Amanda Lemos. And to be honest, she has a good chance of running through this division and getting a title shot. She's looking very strong in this division and very, very impressive the way she just dominated Marina Rodriguez. But let's keep moving down. Quang Lee got it done over Gaston. I thought Gaston was going to be able to get it done. I thought Gaston was better everywhere, but he literally had nothing on the ground for Quang Lee and was getting outstrike on the feet. I think we do Quang Lee, Carlos Vera, similar in the rankings, scheduling wise should work out fine. And to be honest, I think this would be a pretty competitive and a fun fight you can do for Quang Lee. Let's move down. Thomas Petersen now. Thomas Petersen got it done over Dontel Mays. Predicted this shit to a T. But I did think he would get it done round 2 ground and pound, but he's too shit to get it done. He's too shit to get the finish. I think Thomas Pearson, Ryan Spann would be fun. Book this one next. And who did this one? This is Juliana Miller. Yeah, Juliana Miller got it done over Ivana Petrovic. It was very surprising. I thought Petrovic was gonna run through her, not run through her, but it's women's MMA at the end of the day. But I think Juliana Miller, Julia Stoliarenko would be a fun matchup. Do that one next. Who cares? It's women's MMA at the end of the day. Let me know in the comments below. What did you guys think of this card? Probably one of the weakest cards we've had this year. I think in the next coming weeks, or probably next month, because then we'll be around halfway through the year, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a tier list on every single card we've had this year. So let me know how you guys rank this fight card. And yeah, thank you guys for watching to the end of the video, and I will see you guys in my next video.